विकसित भारत की भव्य इमारत को मूर्त रूप देने में पूर्ण रूप से जुटी माननीय केंद्रीय वित्त एवं कॉर्पोरेट कार्य मंत्री भारत सरकार श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमन हार्दिक अभिनंदन करते हैं, स्वागत करते हैं। महत्वाकांक्षी लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने की दिशा में एनपीएस वात्सल्य एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। मैडम, यह आपकी ही दूरगामी सोच का परिणाम है। आज हम अपने बीच में माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री जी की उपस्थिति से गौरवान्वित महसूस कर रहे हैं। मैडम, हम आपका स्वागत करते हैं, वंदन करते हैं। साथ ही हम अपने आप को सौभाग्यशाली मानते हैं कि माननीय वित्त राज्य मंत्री भारत सरकार श्री पंकज चौधरी जी हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं। सर, हम आपका भी सहर्ष स्वागत करते हैं, अभिनंदन करते हैं। साथ ही साथ हम आभार प्रकट करते हैं हमारे बीच उपस्थित सचिव वित्तीय सेवाएं भारत सरकार श्री डॉक्टर दीपक मोहंती, अध्यक्ष PFRDA का। We also welcome all the dignitaries who have joined our participants from PFRDA regulated intermediaries, participants from various academic institutes. आज के कार्यक्रम में देश के अलग अलग कोनों से हमारे बीच यहाँ उपस्थित छात्र, उनके माता पिता, शिक्षक और साथ ही देश से वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे बैंक्स और SLBCs, आप सबका भी हम एनपीएस वात्सल्य योजना के शुभारंभ कार्यक्रम पर हार्दिक अभिनंदन करते हैं। The Honorable Finance Minister in the Union Budget 2024-25 announced NPS Vatsalya, a scheme for contribution by the parents or guardians for the benefit of their children. It is a vital building step towards achieving our vision in our children's future. We are laying the foundation for a process. भी जानते हैं कि हमारी भारतीय संस्कृति में हर शुभ अवसर ईश्वर की वंदना। हम इस कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत दीप प्रज्वलन के साथ करेंगे और ईश्वर से सबकी समृद्धि और कल्याण की प्रार्थना करेंगे। I would now request all the esteemed dignitaries on the dais, please come forward to light the lamp. Thank you. I will also request our kid Snigdha Singhi to please join them for light lamping. Thank you. सभी गणमान्य व्यक्तियों का कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद। May I now request Dr. Deepak Mohanty, Chairperson PFRDA, to deliver the welcome address. Please, sir.
Honorable Union Minister of State, Financial Services, Sri Nagaraju Madhyalaji, distinguished guests across the country. It is my proud privilege to welcome you to today's event, which marks the birth of a pension scheme for our children, NPS Vatsalya. Pension, meaning a steady flow of income through one's lifetime, is a necessity for financial security and dignity at old age. However, the financial provision for that ought to be ideally made when one is young and working. In popular perception, pension was a privilege of government employment. It is no longer so with the introduction of the national pension system in 2004, first for the government employees and then extended to the private corporates, including the common person, and now to children with the launch of NPS Vatsalya. Thus, anyone from infancy to 70 years old can join NPS now. Once the child attains the age of majority, NPS Vatsalya seamlessly gets converted into a regular NPS. And on employment, it could be ported to workplace NPS, thus providing continuity to one's retirement account. The financial threshold level of entry has also been kept low to make it accessible to all strata of our society. With an annual contribution of just rupees 1,000, one could open an account and continue the NPS Vatsalya scheme. It will have all the features of NPS, such as investment choices between equity and debt, and the choice of pension funds. One could easily open an NPS Vatsalya account through their bank branches directly or through online mode, that is e-NPS. NPS is a low-cost, prudently regulated pension scheme. It has made steady progress with an accumulated corpus of over 13 lakh crore. It provides competitive returns. For instance, the equity component of NPS scheme has a given compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 14.2% return since inception. Similarly, the NPS scheme for central government employees, which is a mix of both debt and equity, gives a CAGR of 9.6% return since inception. This performance can be attributed to favorable market conditions and various strategic initiatives by PFRDA designed to enhance subscriber experience and safeguard their investment. But most importantly, it is the hard work put in by all our intermediaries, many of which who are present here, including the frontline staff of banks, which brings us this success. Notwithstanding the progress so far, the pension system in our country is still evolving, and we have a long distance to cover. It is pertinent to mention that the pension assets covering major schemes, including the Employees Provident Fund Organization, that is EPFO, are around 17% of GDP, with NPS is about 4.5% of GDP. In comparison, the average pension assets in Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD countries, were over 80% of GDP. Pension assets are long-term assets. If we could tap into our pension potential, we could reap immense benefit in terms of investment and economic growth. Viewed in our broader demographic and economic context, NPS Vatsalya would not have come at a more propitious time. We are the most populous young country on the face of this planet, with a population of over 140 crore. In a median age of about 28.4 years, that means we are quite young, and an estimated 31% of our population are below 18 years of age. Our ability to financially empower our children is expected to rise as we transition from a lower middle income country to an upper middle income country onto a high income country over the coming decade. In the matter of pension, an early start is a head start. Small amounts squirreled away could yield substantial corpus by harnessing the power of compounding. People often have various financial priorities and may not always consider pension. So retirement planning early in life makes much more sense. So there was a felt need for a pension scheme inculcating a culture of early saving and investment. It is the government's forward-thinking approach under the overarching objective of provision of social security for all that we are here today for the launch of NPS Vatsalya. It enables us to tap into the power of compounding interest, potentially leading to substantial wealth accumulation over time, securing the financial future of our younger generation. We at PFRDA are committed to ease the onboarding process by leveraging digital technology, protecting the interest of subscribers, and fostering trust in pension ecosystem through continuous improvements in security, transparency, and operational efficiency. Once again, my gratitude to Honorable Finance Minister, Minister of State for Finance, Secretary of Financial Services, all our invitees here and participating from remote locations, and children for making this occasion memorable in our quest for personal financial well-being and economic progress. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your welcome address and setting the tone for the program. May I now request Secretary Financial Services, Government of India, to address the audience, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Finance Minister, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Shri Pankaj Chaudhary, Mr. Deepak Mohanty, Chairman PFRDA, my colleagues from the Ministry of Financial Services and PFRDA, other distinguished guests, and happy dear children and ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be present today on the launch of PM NPS Vatsalya scheme by the Honorable Finance Minister. I think this is very important scheme in the sense that we are covering the age gap which is being left out from the pension scheme till now. I'm also happy that this has been announced by Honorable Finance Minister in the last budget speech, and therefore we have actually complied the budget announcement. We all know that pension is a matter of significant importance to each individual and society. And as we move in our demographic dividend, and as the population of older people goes up, it's actually very, very important that we design schemes and systems and frameworks to protect elder population from the economic shocks. The past 2 decades, a lot of reforms have taken place in the pension sector. Initially with the defined contribution. Today, majority of our pension subscribers are part of the defined contribution. Enrollment in the Atal Pension Yojana, which is again social welfare scheme launched by the government in 2014, I believe. Now it is almost touching 7 crore subscribers in all over India. In fact, they are the segment which requires highest levels of social security in the country, and because they are the poorest and living in the remotest part and rural areas. This is in fact the most remarkable achievement of the government to cover the uninsured and uninsurable people into the Atal Pension Yojana. Because this is our responsibility as a society, that to ensure the people who are vulnerable are taken care of. And we want to see that everyone is having a very robust and secured social security network by the year 2047 when we have Viksit Bharat age. Pension plans based on financing from current revenues have been proven to be, in general, fiscally unsustainable and inconsistent with the principles of intergenerational equity. Now, therefore, we have moved towards a contributory pension in a calibrated manner. Increasing numbers established this policy initiative is bearing fruits. Now, with the launch of NPS Vatsalya scheme, now the pension is available for subscription from newly born to up to 70-year-old adults. Therefore, introduction of this scheme is another landmark initiative of this government in the pension sector. In addition to these social challenges, it has been noted that the savings or investment for creating pension corpus was accorded lower priority in financial planning. It must be added that the proportion of financial savings in pension funds has increased significantly in the last 2 decades, and PFRDA is now managing assets of roughly 13 trillion. However, this is still low when compared with other developed countries and OECD economies, and this makes it imperative for all of us to work doubly too hard in the sector to ensure everybody is covered in the pensions scheme. To address the challenges in the pension sector, several initiatives are being taken, which include, some of them are, efforts are being made to include more workers from the private sector, informal sector also. Comprehensive financial education literacy campaign targeted towards pensions are implemented to raise awareness about the importance of retirement plans and the benefits of participating in the pension schemes. Utilizing the technology in improving the accessibility and efficiency of pension services. Digital platforms actually will simplify transactions, enhance transparency, and provide real-time information to beneficiaries. Understanding these strong and robust regulatory frameworks are essential to ensure the sound management of pension funds and to ensure integrity of the system. PFRDA has been doing consistently well on strengthening the regulation and oversight functions. So my congratulations to entire PFRDA team for doing this great job. Today, the pension sector in India is at a crucial juncture. Recent reforms have expanded the scope of pension coverage, aiming to create a more inclusive system by offering more products through a higher number of channels. In our endeavor to build a more inclusive and sustainable pension schemes, we must keep informing and be receptive of subscriber feedback and concerns. In fact, ever since we have announced about the proposed launch of PM Vatsalya scheme, we have been getting many feedback and suggestions on further improving this scheme. As we go along and implement this NP Vatsalya scheme, we would definitely try to improve so that the concerns expressed in the last 1 week by different segments of the population will be taken care, and we make it much more receptive to the population. I'm sure that the reforms undertaken in consultation with the stakeholders will pave the way forward for the society. And in this path, launch of NPS Vatsalya by Honorable Finance Minister will be an important milestone. I thank once again all the stakeholders for entire support and participation in the launch of this scheme. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful address and encouraging words. The launch of NPS Vatsalya highlights the government's commitment to promote long-term financial planning and security for all. It's a big step towards making India's future generations more financially secure and independent. I now humbly request our chief guest, Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, to inaugurate NPS Vatsalya scheme and online onboarding portal for subscribers. थैंक यू मैडम। आइए अब देखते हैं एनपीएस वात्सल्य पर एक शॉर्ट वीडियो।
माँ से मुझे सुंदर दोस्ती है। एनपीएस वात्सल्य ये किसने दिया?
ये हमने दिया है।
तो इसका मैं क्या करूँगी?
तुम्हें नहीं, बल्कि ये तुम्हारे लिए करेगा और करता रहेगा, चाहे तुम कितनी भी बड़ी हो जाओ। सभी चाहते हैं अपने बच्चों की आज की नहीं, कल की जरूरत तो कभी पूरा करें। इसीलिए हमने चुना है एनपीएस वात्सल्य, जो सालाना 1000 रुपए के निवेश से ही शुरू हो जाता है।
एनपीएस वात्सल्य आप 18 वर्ष तक के बच्चों के लिए ले सकते हैं, जो 18 वर्ष बाद खुद ही एनपीएस अकाउंट में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा। काश हमारे बचपन में भी एनपीएस वात्सल्य होता।
हमारे लिए एनपीएस है ना, जो हमें देगा पेंशन, मतलब रिटायरमेंट बिना टेंशन। इसलिए कहता हूँ हर उम्र के लिए एनपीएस जरूरी है।
Now may I request Honorable Chief Guest to release NPS Vatsalya scheme brochure. Thank you, Madam. यूनियन बजट 2020 संपूर्ण भारतवर्ष में उत्साह का माहौल है। बहुत सारे माता पिता ने अपने बच्चों के सुनहरे भविष्य के लिए एनपीएस वात्सल्य में पंजीकरण करवाया है। Today we have been joined by 9 such minor subscribers along with their parents from across the country who will be handed over their permanent retirement account number card by our esteemed guests. मैं अनुरोध करूंगी उन सभी 9 बच्चों से कि वो एक एक करके मंच पर आएं और अपना प्राण कार्ड प्राप्त करें। I humbly request our Honorable Union Finance Ministers and today's chief guest to please come forward and hand over the PRAN cards to these children. I also request other dignitaries on the dais to please join. मुझे यह बताते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि ये जो 9 बच्चे हैं जिनका प्राण कार्ड सबसे पहले इस स्कीम में खुला है, उनको आज हम फिजिकली ये प्राण कार्ड सौंपने जा रहे हैं। सबसे पहले मैं अनुरोध करती हूं कि मिस तेजस्विनी विश्वकर्मा अपनी माताजी के साथ कृपया मंच पर आएं और अपना प्राण कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मिस तेजस्विनी विश्वकर्मा 8 वर्ष की है और बनारस से आई हैं। Now may I request Ms. Lamba Karnam Aditri to please come forward along with her father and receive the PRAN card. Ms. Lamba Aditri is 8 years old and has come from Hyderabad. अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगी मास्टर आइजाक देबर्मा से कि वे अपनी माताजी के साथ मंच पर आकर अपना कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मास्टर इजाक 6 वर्ष के हैं और त्रिपुरा से आए हैं। अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगी मास्टर सईद अनीक हैदर से कि वे अपने पिताजी के साथ मंच पर आकर अपना कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मास्टर सईद अनीक 9 वर्ष के हैं और बिहार से आए हैं। अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगी कि मिस आव्या थापलियाल अपनी माताजी के साथ मंच पर आकर अपना प्राण कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मिस आव्या थापलियाल 7 वर्ष की हैं और दिल्ली में रहती हैं। अब मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिस निगदा सिंघाई को कि वे अपने पिताजी के साथ मंच पर आके अपना कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मिस निगदा 8 वर्ष की हैं और भोपाल से आई हैं। अब मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिस आर्या शर्मा को कि वे अपनी माताजी के साथ मंच पर आकर कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मिस आर्या शर्मा 6 वर्ष की हैं और दिल्ली से आई हैं। अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगी मास्टर सात्विक को कि वे अपने पिताजी के साथ मंच पर आकर अपना कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मास्टर सात्विक 6 वर्ष के हैं और बनारस से आए हैं। अब मैं मास्टर अर्नव कुमार से अनुरोध करती हूं कि अपनी माताजी के साथ कृपया मंच पर आएं और अपना प्राण कार्ड प्राप्त करें। मास्टर अर्नव 8 वर्ष के हैं और दिल्ली में रहते हैं। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जैसा कि कहा जाता है, बच्चे देश के भविष्य की नींव होते हैं। अतः मैं पीएफआरडीए और सभी गणमान्य अतिथियों की ओर से आप सभी बच्चों के उज्जवल भविष्य की कामना करती हूं। धन्यवाद। अब मैं माननीय वित्त राज्य मंत्री भारत सरकार श्री पंकज चौधरी जी से अनुरोध करती हूं कि वे कृपया अपने संबोधन से हमारा मार्गदर्शन करें।
माननीय वित्त एवं कॉर्पोरेट कार्य मंत्री विभाग श्री दीपक मोहंती जी यहाँ उपस्थित हमारे भाइयों और बहनों तथा प्यारे बच्चों और सभी सम्मानित अतिथियों, मैं आप सभी को एनपीएस वात्सल्य योजना के शुभारंभ के अवसर पर हुई है कि आज के इस अवसर पर हमारे बहुत सारे वर्चुअल मोड में भी पूरे देश से साथ में जुड़े हुए हैं। एनपीएस वात्सल्य योजना के शुभारंभ का यह कार्यक्रम माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के 2047 के दृष्टिकोण पर आधारित है और समाज बनाने पर जोर करने की व्यवस्था हमारी संस्कृति और वित्तीय बुद्धिमत्ता की संस्कृति को बढ़ावा देकर हम केवल भारत बनाने के लिए विकास अधिक सुदृढ़ अर्थव्यवस्था बनाने की ओर बढ़ाते हैं। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के गतिशील और दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व में वृद्धावस्था आय सुरक्षा के उद्देश्य से विभिन्न फ्लैगशिप योजनाएं चलाई जा रही हैं, जैसे अटल पेंशन योजना, तेजस के लिए एनपीएस योजना, पीएम कृषि मानधन योजना, पीएम श्रम योगी मानधन योजना, ईपीएफओ की ईपीएस के माध्यम से सरकार ये सुनिश्चित करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है कि सामाजिक सुरक्षा भी इस विकास की यात्रा का एक मजबूत स्तंभ बने। हमारा यह दायित्व है कि हर नागरिक को युवावस्था में राष्ट्र निर्माण में योगदान करता है और वृद्धावस्था में गरिमापूर्ण जीवन यापन करे। साथियों, आज हमारी आधी से अधिक आबादी जनसंख्या हमारी 29 वर्ष से कम आयु के लोग हैं। हमारा वर्ष 2047 में विकसित भारत का लक्ष्य इन्हीं युवाओं के योगदान से हासिल होगा। युवा वर्ग को रोजगार, शिक्षा और कौशल विकास के अवसरों को बढ़ाने के लिए सरकार लगातार सतत प्रयास कर रही है। इस संदर्भ में सरकार द्वारा उठाए गए कदमों से आप सब अवगत होंगे, जैसे स्टार्टअप, स्टैंड अप इंडिया, मुद्रा योजना, कौशल विकास योजना, पीएमईजीपी योजना, ऐसी तमाम योजनाएं भारत सरकार चला रही है। अगर देखें तो पहले स्टार्टअप की संख्या हजारों में होती थी, जो अब जो रजिस्टर्ड स्टार्टअप है वो लगभग 1.5 लाख के करीब है, जिसमें से 100 स्टार्टअप हमारे निकान में सम्मिलित है, जो कि $1 बिलियन से अधिक की भी बिजनेस वो कर रहे हैं। मुद्रा योजना के तहत जहां 1.6 लाख करोड़ के लोग स्वीकृत करके लगभग 1.7 करोड़ लोगों को रोजगार देने का काम हुआ है, वहीं पे अगर देखें तो 1.7 करोड़ नए उद्यमी बने हैं जो कि तमाम लोगों को रोजगार देने का भी काम कर रहे हैं। वहीं पर अगर स्किल इंडिया 4.0 में युवाओं को वर्तमान समय के अनुरूप रोजगार परक कौशल प्रदान करने के लिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आदि को भी शामिल किया गया है। भाइयों बहनों, वर्तमान में हमारी अधिकतम संख्या युवा है, पर आज की ये अनुकूल परिस्थिति हमेशा शायद न बनी जाए। इसलिए आवश्यक है कि वर्तमान में हम अपनी आय का एक अंश भविष्य की सुरक्षा के लिए लगाएं। एनपीएस जो कि एक पूर्व अनुमानित अंशदायी योजना है, इस दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। आज ये न केवल सरकारी कर्मचारियों बल्कि देश के हर नागरिक के लिए उपलब्ध है। पारंपरिक और सामाजिक सुरक्षा योजना और सेवानिवृत्ति संबंधित योजनाएं वयस्कों और बुजुर्गों पर केंद्रित रही हैं, जिनमें जन्म से 18 वर्ष आयु वर्ग वाली जनसंख्या शामिल नहीं हो पाई है, जबकि यही जनसंख्या विकसित भारत 2047 की नींव है। ये एनपीएस वात्सल्य की पहल आज के युवा नागरिकों और कल के चैंपियंस जो वित्तीय समावेश के द्वारा सशक्त बनाती है, ताकि भारत के विकास में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाते हुए उनके भविष्य को सुरक्षित किया जा सके। ये विकसित और समृद्ध भारत के दृष्टिकोण को साकार करने की दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। व्यक्तिगत बचत और निवेश खातों की शुरुआती नागरिक प्रारंभ वर्षों के करके हम वर्ष 2047 में वर्ष होने वाली युवा पीढ़ी के आर्थिक स्वावलंबन की दिशा में आज एक अभूतपूर्व कदम उठा रहे हैं। इन्हीं लक्ष्यों के साथ वित्तीय वर्ष 2024-25 के बजट में इस योजना की घोषणा माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी द्वारा की गई थी। मैं आशा करता हूं कि योजना सामाजिक सुरक्षा के क्षेत्र में एक मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। मेरे नन्हे मित्रों, आज माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी के कर कमलों से एनपीएस वात्सल्य का शुभारंभ भारत सरकार के समावेशी आर्थिक विकास की दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। ये एक प्रयास है हमारे बाद भी हमारे नन्हे मित्रों की सामाजिक सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित का। ये एक प्रयास है जो बूंद बूंद से सागर भरने की कहावत को यथार्थ रूप देने का काम करता है। बचपन से जोड़ी गई छोटी छोटी राशि भी आने वाले समय में कुछ वर्षों बाद एक बड़ी निधि बन जाएगी। महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि जैसे जैसे भारत का विकास होगा आपकी निधि भी बढ़ती जाएगी। मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है कि पीएफआरडीए का सुदृढ़ विनियामक ढांचा इस योजना से जुड़ने वालों के हितों की पूरी रक्षा करेगी। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में, आदरणीय वित्त मंत्री जी के दिशा निर्देशन में पिछले 10 वर्षों में भारत सरकार ने समाज के हर आयु वर्ग के लोगों को आर्थिक और सामाजिक हितों की सुरक्षा के सफल प्रयास किए हैं। एनपीएस वात्सल्य इसी श्रृंखला में एक और कड़ी है। बजट में घोषित योजना की वित्त मंत्रालय एवं पीएफआरडीए द्वारा त्वरित क्रियान्वयन करके एनपीएस वात्सल्य योजना का शुभारंभ अत्यंत सराहनीय है और इसके लिए मैं संबंधित अधिकारियों और कर्मचारियों को भी बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। ये योजना सरकार के अन्य प्रयासों के साथ आने वाले समय में हमारे नौनिहालों को वित्तीय और सामाजिक सुरक्षा की चिंता से मुक्त रखेगी, ताकि हमारे नौनिहाल अपने संपूर्ण ऊर्जा और समय सकारात्मक कार्यों में लगाकर विकसित भारत 2047 के सपने को साकार करने में अपना महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दे सके। आज के अवसर पर आप सभी को एक बार पुनः बधाई और शुभकामनाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
आपका मूल्यवान मार्गदर्शन देने के लिए धन्यवाद सर। हम आशा करते हैं कि हमें भविष्य में भी आपके दिशा निर्देश प्राप्त होते रहेंगे। लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, एक सही सोच बड़ा बदलाव ला सकती है। इस सोच को सही दिशा देना, इसका सफल क्रियान्वयन सुनिश्चित करना सक्षम नेतृत्व की पहचान होती है। एक ऐसी ही सोच है जो माननीय केंद्रीय वित्त मंत्री जी की प्रखर नेतृत्व शैली से सिंचित होकर आज मूर्त रूप में साकार हो रही है। मैं माननीय श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारामन जी से आदर पूर्वक अनुरोध करती हूं कि अपने प्रबोधन से हमारा मार्गदर्शन करें। प्लीज मैडम।
सभी को नमस्कार। My colleague Pankaj Chaudhary, Chairman of the PFRDA, Deepak Mohanty ji, Secretary DFS Madirala ji, all officials who've come before me, parents and children who've come here, not just here but all over the country, the media. Let me begin by saying that the alacrity and the speed with which both the Department of Financial Services and also the PFRDA have executed what was announced in the July budget in this kind of a speedy manner, I actually am pleasantly surprised, and I congratulate the two of you. This kind of fulfilling what is said in the budget in a matter of a few months gives a lot of hope that budget speeches are not just read, but they are enacted upon and they are brought to the ground. I see a lot of children in the crowd, young students. So I would like to make my address a bit to the children also. Whilst this is an event marking the implementation of a budget announcement, like my colleague said, Prime Minister has a vision for India to be developed by the time we mark 100 years of our independence from the imperial rule. We got our independence in 1947. So by 2047, it is not too much to think that we need to be developed, but it is also not a dream because it is possible by the efforts of all of us, people of India. You need good visionary leadership, and you also need governments which work for the people. If we do have these combination, it is possible to realize what appears like a dream now, but it is possible to reach that state and give our children a better India to live in. We see a lot of changes happening even now. We are really honestly much better off than many other countries, which are even today, even if they are advanced countries, you see them struggling to grow. You see them, they may be at a better, higher level than we are in the rate of development or the status in which they are, they may be better than we are. But the rapidity with which, because of the efforts of our people, we are able to grow, they are not able to grow in that kind of a speed. And therefore, we are standing out as an economy which is growing at the fastest rate in the last few years, this year, and the next few years also, for which you can do prediction. So if that is the kind of growth with which we are leading ourselves, we also need to plan so that there is intergenerational equity. What do I mean by that? I mean that if this generation is earning, paying for its well-being and living with its family, but today's generation also has the responsibility of taking care of its senior citizens, the elders in your family, many of whom do not have pensions. So in a way, the children and grandchildren are giving them the option to live with dignity because we're all part of a family. But if only the parents had had the opportunity, like that video you saw, parents talking to that young child, saying, this is going to help you, this is going to help you in your future. And then the mother of the child says, if only we had something like this when we were young. What does that actually mean? If these facilities were available then, today's senior citizens, literally all of them, would have had the opportunity to have some money in their hands, saying, this is my earned saving, converted to become pension, either contributory or not. And therefore, I too have some money to take care of myself when I'm old, as much as my children are taking care of me. So that giving dignity to the life of elders, which we, because we are born and brought up in India, are told, are educated, are cultured by our families to say, respect your elders, take care of them, keep them with you, your grandparents, and so on. But it will also help the elders to have that kind of money in their hand. That is why schemes which are being brought out by the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, one such an example, again something which Shri Pankaj Chaudhary mentioned about, is the Atal Pension Yojana, where the poorest of poor people, even if they pay very little amount, like 1 rupee, 3 rupee for a saving, now it's probably gone to different rates for different people. You want, eventually you want only 1,000 rupees as pension because beyond that you can't pay annual premiums. All right, but you still pay something very little amount so that you get 1,000 rupees when you reach the age of 60, and that will continue as long as you are alive. So that kind of a scheme was launched by Honorable Prime Minister called Atal Pension Yojana. And I will just want to give you the numbers so that you know that not just launching the scheme, but taking it forward in such a way that it reaches maximum number of people happens. What is it? It's a low-cost pension scheme. You can choose to get 1,000 rupees per month or up to 5,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. You can choose that amount of monthly pension you want and pay your premiums accordingly. Now, that one, after 60th year, you start earning. We introduced this. It has a feature that in case the person who insured themselves unfortunately dies, the spouse will get that money as long as the spouse is alive. Now, if the full pension corpus is collected and you're given 1,000 rupees a month or whatever you chose, 2,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees. Unfortunate death, you're dead and gone, your spouse gets it. Suppose both of them die. That entire amount which is in the corpus will be given to the nominee. Suppose there is a child who grows up, these elderly citizen, father and mother expired. That money will go to the nominee. So what you save is literally coming back to you and your family. Therefore, since the time it was launched, which was only around 2015, if I remember correct, 6.9 crore people, 6.90 crore people have taken that Atal Pension Yojana. And what is the total money accumulated in that till now? Obviously, if you took the pension in 2015, it's only what? 9 years since it started? Not yet anybody ready to receive the pension. They're still accumulating that money. For you to be eligible, you'll have to reach 60th year. Payments of pension in that Atal Pension Yojana has not commenced, but the money corpus is accumulating. What does that corpus today have? 35,149 crores. Small trickles. Small trickles. You know, when you take the Atal Pension Yojana, thinking that when you become 60, you need it and you choose the 1,000 rupees, and what would be that amount, Deepak? If I choose 1,000 rupees at the age of, let us say, 25, and I say I'm poor, I can't pay a very high premium. When I'm 60, I need 1,000 rupees as pension per month. Suppose that's the combination at 25.
Yeah, about 40 rupees.
14.
40.
40 in a year.
Yeah. No, monthly.
Monthly 40 rupees, right? Okay. So I hope the students who are here and parents who are planning for these things understand what it means. A गरीब 25 साल में अगर अटल पेंशन योजना के तहत वो जब 60 इयर्स पहुंचेगा, तब अगर 1,000 रुपया महीना उनको पेंशन चाहिए, अब महीना 25 इयर्स में, जब आप 25 इयर्स में हो, 60 इयर्स पहुंचने के बाद 1,000 रुपीज पर मंथ पेंशन चाहिए, तो अभी महीने में 40 रुपया ही आप भरना पड़ेगा. That is the kind of work Atal Pension Yojana requires of you. 40 रुपया महीना के प्रीमियम भरते हुए 60th ईयर से आपको 1,000 रुपया पेंशन के नाते मिलेगा. और जब तक आप जीवित रहेंगे और आपके पति पत्नी स्पाउस जो भी हो, उनको जब तक वो जिंदा रहेंगे पैसा मिलेगा. इसीलिए I want to highlight the fact that till now in India, we've always thought about saving money for our future. Here, through this pension plan, you are saving as much as ensuring your future income. That is the kind of explanation, or that is the narrative I can give you when I say intergenerational equity. So when you're old, you have something in your hand, you're not completely or entirely dependent on your children. The children will take care of you, but you have something for yourself. Now, this is about Atal Pension Yojana, which is for the poorest of the poor. Government of India in 2004 launched a scheme called National Pension Scheme, which is for people who have some income in their hands. And therefore, there is a way in which that income can be pooled towards pension. It is easily accessible. Whenever you want to take that money, you can always use it. Low cost, tax efficient, and also flexible and portable retirement scheme. In this, although it was launched in 2004, it was extended to all citizens. Earlier, it was launched for the central government employees. Then it became open for everybody. NPS in the last 10 years has grown at the rate of 37% CAGR. At present, 1.86 crore subscribers are there in it, and the asset under management has crossed 13 lakh crores NPS. There is an NPS exclusively for the private sector. Even that has grown very well. In fact, I would like to highlight how between March 2020 and March 2024, just those 4 years, what kind of growth, and this is voluntary basis, what kind of growth in the private domain NPS has seen. It has grown much faster, and the CAGR for those 4 years is 25%, as opposed to the government subscription, which has been running for the 10 years now, at 8%. So the private sector employees have found NPS a very attractive proposition, and therefore there you see such growth, and that is why the asset under management for the private sector has grown at this rate, which is 43%, whereas compared to the government sector, the CAGR is 27%. PFRDA, which is Deepak Mohanty, manages 58.71 lakh customers who have taken or who have put 2.62 lakh the private citizens as total amount coming from the corporate sector. Now, if this is about NPS, the government in the recent budget announced a unified pension scheme, and that is for the central government employees. It will be effective from 1st April 2025. It has the best elements, I would think, of OPS, NPS, and it provides an assured pension after retirement, which is what OPS did. But here it has other features as well. So the government employees will receive a guaranteed pension amounting to 50% of the average basic pay drawn in the last 12 months before retirement. Additionally, the UPS scheme includes inflation indexation based on that All India Consumer Price Index for industrial workers. So that determines what kind of indexation will have to happen to soften the impact of inflation. The state governments obviously have an option to adopt the UPS. It is their choice. There's no compulsion. They can choose as they want. What the UPS does is takes care of the government employees' interest. And as Finance Minister, I have a responsibility to say this. It also takes care of the taxpayers' interest so that there is no overburdening the future generations of a heavy pension bill. So I may be Finance Minister now, taking care of finances now, but I have to be conscious that what I do now doesn't burden these young people who are going to grow. When they grow up, they end up paying for these fancy schemes or fantastic schemes that any government will come up with. So what I have done here is to make sure that the pensioners' interests are taken care of, but equally making sure that the taxpayers are not going to get overburdened. On NPS Vatsalya, which has got launched today, it actually brings in a habit of saving for the parents. It's a saving habit of the parents who can put the money for the children. Children can, of course, have their own little piggy banks, or what do you call it? Gulak? Gulak? What do you call that? Gulak. I'm not familiar with that word, but sorry about that. So the benefit of compounding is something which everybody spoke about. I don't need to add. It can begin the savings, the pension actually begins even 15, 20 years earlier than when you get a job and at 25 you start saving for your pension. You've already started doing that when you join NPS Vatsalya. So I think it was Secretary DFS who highlighted the figures that the NPS scheme has generated very competitive returns. I just want to highlight, because I see media friends here, the benefits of what the NPS scheme is giving needs to be recalled. The NPS scheme generated competitive returns since its inception. For the government sector, NPS has on an average has given return of 9.5% compounded annual growth rate since its inception. For the non-government sectors, it is absolutely stunning number. Of course, the markets have been very good, but the number is stunning. In the non-government sector, since inception, the permitted asset classes have delivered a CAGR returns of, I'm talking about three different categories: 14% for equity, 9.1% for corporate debt, and 8.8% for government securities. Imagine if you had invested, imagine if you had invested 30% of your entire portfolio, one in equity, another in corporate debt, and a third one in government securities. I roughly can instantly sort of calculate you will be getting somewhere between 10.5 or 10.6% returns if you put 30% in the three. So that is the kind of returns you get under NPS, and this is NPS Vatsalya. So the child is getting the advantage of this kind of return right from when the money is saved, and when he or she is 18 or whenever they get a job, this moves. 18 is when it moves over to become a regular NPS and then benefit from it. So my appeal, we've already said what kind of NPS this is, Vatsalya. I'm not going to go into the details. It is up to 18 years, you can put this money for any child. It is flexible. You can do it in any major bank. You can go to post office. You can go to the pension funds office, or even on the online eNPS portal and do it from there. So my appeal to all parents is, when you go with your child, जब आपके बच्चे के साथ आप एक बर्थडे पार्टी में जाएंगे, जरूर आपके छोटे छोटे टॉफियां या केक या कुछ तोहफा उस बच्चे के लिए लेके जाइए, जरूर लेके जाइए। मगर आपके हिस्सा अगर उस बच्चे के फुल फ्यूचर के लिए काम में आना है, तो आप एनपीएस वात्सल्य के नाम में उनके पेरेंट्स के हाथ में कुछ पैसा देकर आना, जिससे वो इन्वेस्ट कर पाएंगे। So birthdays or any other happy occasion in the family, if our gifts are going to be Vatsalya, you're not just giving a birthday gift of that day or a happy day's gift on that day. It will be a lifelong contribution for the child's future. So I invite all parents, I invite all elders to look at children in the family, children in the neighborhood, children of people who are with you, children of people who attend to you at your homes. उनके बच्चे के भविष्य के लिए, क्योंकि इसमें बहुत बड़ा अमाउंट नहीं, 1000 रुपया दे दीजिए, उससे वात्सल्य बहुत बड़ा बन जाएगा, सबके लिए इससे फायदा है. So I invite all of you to join the NPS Vatsalya. Also make sure you're sending this message to all your friends and families. It is a scheme which can give dignity to the elders and a sense of security for the children that the elders are being taken care of. His सरकार सबके लिए है, बच्चे के लिए है, क्योंकि हम बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ ऐसे बहुत सारे कार्यक्रम करते हैं. युवा के लिए है, युवा एक जाति के नाम पर हम रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं, जैसे किसान, जैसे महिला, जैसे बच्चे और जैसे गरीब, इन चारों को हम जाति के रूप में देखकर उनके लिए कार्यक्रम करते हैं। इसीलिए we take care of all the sections of our society. Society also should appreciate the various good natured schemes which are coming up for the current generation and for the future. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. सबके लिए नमस्कार।
धन्यवाद मैडम, आपके प्रभावशाली और उत्साहजनक शब्दों के लिए हृदय से साधुवाद। आपकी बहुमूल्य उपस्थिति के लिए भी आपका आभार। अब मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करने के लिए आमंत्रित करूंगी पूर्णकालिक सदस्य वित्त PFRDA डॉक्टर मनोज आनंद जी को।
सभी को नमस्कार। सभा में उपस्थित माननीय केंद्रीय वित्त एवं कॉर्पोरेट कार्य मंत्री मैडम भारत सरकार, माननीय वित्त राज्य मंत्री महोदय, माननीय सचिव महोदय वित्तीय सेवाएं वित्त मंत्रालय, माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय पेंशन निधि विनियामक और विकास प्राधिकरण, सम्माननीय अतिथिगण और देवियों सज्जनों, हम माननीय केंद्रीय वित्त एवं कॉर्पोरेट कार्य मंत्री मैडम का उनके कर कमलों द्वारा NPS वात्सल्य योजना का शुभारंभ करने के पुनीत अवसर पर और हमारा मार्गदर्शन करने के लिए सादर आभार प्रकट करते हैं। बजट भाषण 2024-25 पैरा 107 में NPS वात्सल्य योजना की परिकल्पना और स्रोत के रूप में हमारा मार्गदर्शन करने के लिए हम उत्कृत हैं तथा माननीय केंद्रीय वित्त एवं कॉर्पोरेट कार्य मंत्री मैडम का विनम्र आभार और कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करते हैं। आदरणीय मैडम, हम ये आश्वस्त कराना चाहते हैं कि हम अपने माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के विकसित भारत 2047 के दृष्टिकोण के अनुसार पूर्ण पेंशन युक्त समाज बनाने के लिए तत्परता से कार्यरत हैं। हम ये आश्वासन देते हैं कि आपने जो दिशा और लक्ष्य दिखाया है, हम उसका पूरी लगन और मेहनत से कार्यान्वयन करेंगे। आदरणीय मैडम, इस विशेष अवसर पर पुनः हम आपका सादर आभार प्रकट करते हैं। आज के इस शुभ अवसर पर हमारा मार्गदर्शन करने के लिए हम माननीय वित्त राज्य मंत्री महोदय का अपने हृदय के अंतरतम से आभार प्रकट करते हैं। माननीय महोदय, जैसा कि आपने आह्वान किया है, निश्चित तौर पर यह योजना वित्तीय समावेशन का एक महत्वपूर्ण माध्यम बनकर उभरेगी और हम भविष्य की पीढ़ियों के लिए सतत वित्तीय स्थिरता और सफलता की नींव रखेंगे। माननीय महोदय, इस विशेष अवसर पर हमें संबोधित करने के लिए हम पुनः आपका विशेष आभार प्रकट करते हैं। आज के इस कार्यक्रम में हमारा मार्गदर्शन करने के लिए